Good afternoon. I'd like to call the November 2023 Board of Trustees public session to order. Before I entertain a motion to approve the agenda and do the roll call, I just want to point out that Trustee Rachel Gwynn won't be with us this evening. It seems that she has an exam at this institution, so I thought that was a reasonable request to excuse her tonight. I would like to entertain a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Chintami, would you please call the roll?
Yes, thank you. Trustees, when I call your name, please state your vote. Chair Uvala.
Approve?
Vice Chair Chen.
Approve.
Trustee Chowdhury.
Approve.
Trustee Johnson.
Approve.
Trustee Moore.
Approve.
Trustee Price Jones.
Approve.
Trustee Stanton Buttram.
Approve.
Thank you, Chair Uvala. This motion passes.
Thank you very much. Welcome to you all. We do have a special guest from Lucca, Italy. Trustee Chen's sister is here. Thank you for being with us. I'm pleased to announce that Trustee Sandra Moore was successful in becoming the Northeast Region member of the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee for the Association of Community College Trustees, ACT. She was elected to this committee at last month's ACT Leadership Congress. The purpose of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee is to promote awareness and educational opportunities for underrepresented diverse populations. Anne Arundel Community College has a history of Board of Trustee members actively participating in state and national advocacy efforts, and we are pleased to have Sandy serve in this role on a national level. And many of you might remember that Diane Dixon, Trustee Diane Dixon Proctor, also previously served on the same committee. The board and college are committed to supporting her with these efforts, and we're confident that Sandy will be an excellent ambassador and advocate for AACC and the community colleges in the Northeast region. So please join me in congratulating her. We have a consent agenda before you in which we'll approve the minutes of prior meetings and also procurements, which were again in all of your pre-reads. So do we have to have a formal motion there?
Yeah. The main motion in front of the board is that the Board of Trustees approve the consent agenda item as listed.
I'll entertain such a motion. Do we have one?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Can you just say it again? I just didn't hear all of it, what you said.
Just that we're approving this consent agenda the consent agenda in your agenda tonight, which is the approval of the minutes of October 10th, Board of Trustees public session.
Go ahead. I'm with you now. Before I just didn't hear all what document.
Gotcha. Did you want to pull anything out, Jim?
Next time around.
Okay. Well, it would be, really. Any further discussion? Chintami, would you please call for the roll?
Sure, thank you. And just a reminder to the trustees, you may need to unmute your microphone in order to speak for your votes. So trustees, when I call your name, please state your vote. Chair Uvala.
Approve?
Vice Chair Chen.
Approve.
Trustee Chowdhury.
Approve.
Trustee Johnson.
Approve.
Trustee Moore.
Approve.
Trustee Price Jones.
Approve.
Trustee Stanton Buttram.
Approve.
Thank you. Chair Uvala, this motion passes.
Thank you so much. Let's go on into our committee reports. We'll start with audit and finance. Trustee Price Jones.
Good afternoon, everyone. The Board Audit and Finance Committee met via Zoom on October 17th, 2023. I'm going backwards. To discuss the following topics. Presentations from the auditors on the fiscal year 2023 audit, FY 2024 financial status report, and future meetings. The primary purpose of the meeting was to discuss the FY 2023 audit reports that are on tonight's agenda for acceptance. The Board of Trustees have been provided the college's FY 2023 audited financial statements as prepared by the college management and audited by Clinton Lawson Allen LLP. The meeting started with Ms. Christina Bowman, principal from Clinton Lawson Allen LLP, presenting the results of the FY 2023 financial statement audit and status of the federal grants audit. The auditors issued an unmodified or clear opinion with no audit adjustments on the financial statements. Ms. Bowman stated that the auditors did not encounter any difficulties in the completion of their work and that all requested documentation and reports were available upon request. She complimented the management on their preparation. During the meeting and after the discussion via email, the committee was made aware of 2 items noted in detail on pages 87 through 92 of the Uniform Guidance Report, also known as the Grants Audit, that required a response from the college. As noted in the report and shared via email with the Board of Trustees, the administration has already addressed one of the items and has developed a plan to address the second by September 2024. These items are minor in scope and are not anticipated to have any impact on the college's ability to grant financial aid, nor does it result in the repayment of any funds. After the audit presentation, the committee discussed the FY 2024 operating budget status report as of August 31st, 2023, and anticipate the annual results, noting the college is operating within existing resources. Vice President Beardmore noted that this report is updated throughout the year, and with the Audit and Finance Committee's work generally completed in the fall, future reports will be provided to the Budget Committee. Last, the committee discussed future meetings and noted this is the last scheduled meeting for the Audit and Finance Committee unless a special meeting is requested. This concludes my report, and I'm happy to answer any questions before turning over to Dr. Lindsay for a motion.
Any questions?
Just a comment, if I may. Just a comment, because I sit on the Audit and Finance Committee. I would like to congratulate Vice President Beardmore and her team for the remarkable work they continue to do on this every year. So thank you very much.
And I second that. Vice President Beardmore has been a pleasure to work with. All my questions she's happily answered, so I really appreciate the time and effort of you and your team.
Thank you. Madam President, would you read the motion?
I sure will. The main motion in front of the board this evening is that the Board of Trustees Audit and Finance Committee has accepted and recommends that the Board of Trustees accept the college's FY 2023 financial statements audited by Clifton Larson Allen LLP.
And we wanted this to be approved so bad we put it in your pre-reads twice. In case you, yeah. And do we have a second?
Second.
Do we have any discussion? Janani, would you call for the roll, please?
Trustees, when I call your name, please state your vote. Chair Uvala,
Approve?
Vice Chair Chen,
Approve.
Trustee Chowdhury,
Approve.
Trustee Johnson,
Approve.
Trustee Moore, Trustee Price Jones,
Approve.
Trustee Stanton Buttram.
Approve.
Thank you. Chair Uvala, this motion passes.
Thank you so much. Moving along with our committee, continuing our committee reports, Dr. Chen, Trustee Chen, your Policy Oversight Committee.
Thank you, Chair Uvala. While the committee did not meet in person this past month, we did communicate via email to review and approve the policy action request for a new grade appeal policy. Currently, the college's website has procedures that cover both non-academic student grievances as well as complaints regarding grading of academic assessments. Typically, institutions have a separate policy that addresses grade appeals. The college is currently drafting a student grievance policy, which was approved by the Board Policy Oversight Committee on September 9th, 2022, and the grade appeal policy should be developed and vetted at the same time. As per the policy and the development of policy and procedures, once the college has developed and vetted the draft policies, the committee will review them and then send them to the full board for review and approval. This concludes my report.
Thank you, Vice Chair Dr. Chen. Any questions? And we'll move along to Facilities Committee. Trustee Moore.
Thank you, Trustee Uvala. The Facilities Committee met twice via Zoom since our last board meeting. My report will cover both meetings. On October 23rd, the committee met to review the 2 procurements that were scheduled for the board's approval at its October 26th meeting. At the November 7th meeting, the committee discussed the 2 procurements which are on our agenda for approval tonight. Next, the committee discussed the list of future procurements. Lastly, the committee received an update on campus projects, specifically the pedestrian bridge, Florestano building renovation, the Broadneck Trail, and the GBTC renovation. Regarding the pedestrian bridge, repairs are underway, and the current schedule calls for the bridge to be opened by January 11th, 2024. This assumes no unforeseen circumstances with the structure of the bridge and/or significant weather delays. The renovation of the 4th floor of the Florestano building is complete, and the college will host an open house for the college community in the spring semester. Waiting until the spring semester will give the employees who have moved into the space time to develop the guidelines and protocols for using the space. Regarding the Broadneck Trail, the committee received an update on this county project to create a pedestrian and bike trail along College Parkway. The committee continues to believe that it's important for the full board to be aware of this project, as there have been some questions from the community regarding the removal of trees on the college's property. It's important to share that this is the county's Broadneck Trail project and not the college's project. And just from my own personal point of view, I've been asked about this. Why is the college taking out the trees? So I had a chance to correct that. Regarding the renovations to the Glen Burnie Town Center, the renovation of the lobby and its testing and tutoring labs are nearing completion. The county is planning to replace the HVAC system in the building, and the college is discussing with them the ideal timing of the project to minimize the disruption to students. Last, the committee discussed the structural issues with the HCAT building and possible scenarios that the college will discuss with the county. Chair Uvala, this concludes my report.
Thank you very much, Trustee Moore. Any questions? Okay, moving on with the Vice Chair, Dr. Chen reports. We'll go on to Student Success Committee.
Thank you, Chair. The Student Success Committee met yesterday on November 13th to review the Fall 2023 Credit Enrollment Update Report that will be presented later in this meeting. This provided the committee an opportunity to have an in-depth discussion about the report and ask clarifying questions about the data and impact of the K-12 blueprint legislation. The committee also talked about strategies and initiatives the college is implementing to increase enrollment, retention, and student success. The next meeting of this committee will be in March, when it will review the winter and spring credit enrollment reports. This concludes my report.
Thank you, Vice Chair Chen. Any questions? Okay, well, then we'll wrap it up with what's going on with the foundation, again with Vice Chair Dr. Chen.
Thank you. I will begin. Usually our student trustee reads the Dear Donor letter, but since Rachel is not here, I will read it. Dear Donor, I am writing to express my gratitude for the Annapolis Kappa Foundation Scholarship. This scholarship provides the financial support necessary to help me pursue my educational goals at AACC. The funds not only relieve the burden of tuition, but also enable me to concentrate on my studies and move closer to my dreams. My journey at AACC has been transformative. The college has provided me with a solid academic foundation. I chose this program because it aligns perfectly with my career interests, which involve computer systems and my passion for cybersecurity. The knowledge and skills I've gained so far have empowered me to envision a future where I can make a meaningful impact in the cyber world. Throughout my short time at AACC, I've faced some academic challenges which have pushed me to work harder and develop resilience. These challenges have also served as valuable learning experiences, helping me grow both as a student and as an individual. I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude for your generous support and belief in my educational journey. Your kindness is not only helping me achieve my dreams, but it is also inspiring me to work diligently towards my goals. I am deeply appreciative of your investment in my future. Once again, thank you for your generosity and for making a significant impact on my life. Your support means the world to me. Scholarship recipient. And I will continue my report on a fundraising update. As of October 31st, 2023, the foundation's fundraising total is $2.33 million in gifts and commitments, exceeding the fiscal year goal of $2 million. Regarding board information and events, thank you to all who attended the Foundation's donor cultivation event on October 24th in the Health and Life Sciences Building. The event was successful in informing members of our community about AACC's commitment to significantly expanding the nursing program to address the need for healthcare workers in our region. Dr. Lindsay mentioned in her remarks that evening that community issues require community solutions, and AACC prepares the workforce for this region like no other institution can. The AACC Foundation will continue to focus on raising funds for the Future Nursing Professionals Scholarship to allow more students to enroll in our AACC's registered nursing program. This concludes my report.
Thank you, Vice Chair Dr. Chen. Any questions? We will not have reports for Board Development Committee, Budget Committee, or Human Resources Committee this meeting. So now we'll move into the President's report. Dr. Lindsay?
Thank you. I was honored to moderate a panel discussion on October the 17th for Women Who Make a Difference, sponsored by the Northern Anne Arundel County Chamber of Commerce, featuring a very distinguished panel of women, including our own Dr. Nadine Chang. The panel shared their experience about leadership, qualities that have driven them not only in their personal success, but also in the success of others around them. And I want to thank Trustee Sandra Moore for also being in attendance with us, so thank you. I've also participated in many college and community events this month, including the fall board meeting for the League for Innovation in Madison, Wisconsin, the Anne Arundel County Good Scout Breakfast honoring Senator Sarah Etheridge on October the 26th, along with Chair Larry Uvala and Vice Chair, again, Nadine Chen. That evening was also the Anne Arundel County Chamber of Commerce Annual Business Hall of Fame induction and dinner. The Chair Larry Uvala and Trustee Joyce Price Jones, Sandy Moore, and Shabazz Chaudhry attended as well. On October the 31st, I also had lunch with students from the Genders and Sexualities Alliance and the Super Science Club. We had an amazing turnout for AACC's open house on November the 2nd with over 900 RSVPs, clearly demonstrating the continued interest in the college because of the amazing work that we do on a daily basis. I want to thank the many volunteers who supported the open house. It was such a great success. And I'd like to send accolades by congratulating Dr. Susan Lamont, Professor of Biology, who received the Jan Holman Environmental Education Award. This award recognizes an individual or organization that has been especially effective in achieving environmental education in Anne Arundel County. She was nominated by a former AACC student, which is a testament to her ability to inspire students and her dedication to teaching. Congratulations again to Dr. Lamont. Throughout November, we recognize the sacrifices and contributions of our military families through a variety of visual displays, initiatives, and events. On November 9th, the college held its annual Veterans Appreciation Ceremony at the Veterans Memorial Garden. It was a beautiful tribute, concluding with our tradition of the reading of names of faculty, staff, and family members and veteran students who have either served or are currently serving in the military. As the community's college, we have benefited from the service of our veterans and military in so many ways. We are committed to supporting, providing our active military learners, veterans, and families as they achieve their educational goals, and we are grateful for their service. Tonight I leave for the other AACC conference, and I just wanted to share the success of our programs there, and Dr. Mark Bedell and Dr. Sandra Curtinitis will be joining me on a panel discussion talking about what the community colleges can be doing to support the K-12 system and what the K-12 system can do to support us. So it's going to be a really, really lively discussion between the two of them. Anybody know their personalities? They're both very strong and animated, so it's going to be very interesting. With that, I'll conclude my report. I'm going to move now into sabbatical reports. Dr. Tanya Milner, Provost Vice President for Learning, if you could please come forward.
Good evening. I just want to start by thanking you all for your continued support of our faculty and the work that they have the opportunity to complete during their sabbatical leaves. I'm going to first introduce Matt Close. We'll have two tonight, and then he'll do his report, and we'll move into Professor Brandy Shepard. Professor Matthew Close, Professor of Visual Arts, has worked at AACC for 16 years. During his sabbatical, he completed a series of paintings from various neighborhoods investigating the image we present to the world, our front doors versus our forgotten and overlooked spaces, views from our backyards, our garages, or our back alleys. Additionally, Close participated in an exhibition and week-long visiting artist event in February 2023 at Shasta College in Redding, California, where he and 6 other artists in the collective Perceptual Painters spoke to students and spent several days creating new work in both Redding and Sacramento. Close also had the opportunity to read through the journals of prominent Maryland artist Anne Truitt, a leader in the minimalist movement of the 70s and 80s. Truitt's artwork intersects with the aesthetic concerns of both the perceptual and abstract realms of visual art. Truitt was also a leader in equity-based initiatives regarding equal pay for men and women. Without further ado, Professor Close will share with us how his sabbatical work will further impact faculty and student success and engagement positively at AACC.
Hello, everybody. I think I'm mic'd up appropriately. Thank you so much. Thanks to the board, and of course, so much other support that I've received just to have this opportunity. It's hard to put into words the opportunity to wake up each day thinking about the work going out. I mean, for me, this is a very sort of close to home project. My commute was walking out my back gate, walking down the alley, then I'd come home for lunch, go back out again. So I did about 100 paintings. These are all large or small format. I stuck with a square format on these particular paintings just to sort of activate what I would call sort of the flatness of the form. But you'll notice in, these few images that I'm showing you, that, I became kind of interested in, it was very much about the particular qualities of light, particular qualities of day. This house in particular, I kept going back to this house. There was sort of like this strange addition that was built. It was too close to the roadway. The county shut it down. So this house was sort of in this position of disrepair for years. And I just became really interested in painting this. So many of these are one-session paintings. Some are multiple-session paintings. This particular passageway down this cross street, most of the homes were developed there. They were built in, I think, around 1900, 1910. A lot of this is an oral history that I was hearing in the community. But it's a landlocked black community within the greater Sparrows Point region. So a lot of interesting stories that I was hearing during this time. This is actually a gentleman who did his own camouflaging on his truck. Needed to get that in there. This gives you a sense of, kind of when I was going a little further away, just commuting and in the back of my little truck here. Another view along Sycamore, which is that sort of landlocked community that I was talking about. I didn't mention this in the report, but I also had an opportunity to present to a number of graduate students from Towson. They actually came out to the neighborhood, and I did a display of the works kind of partway through the project to share with these graduate students at Towson. The Shasta College visit, that sort of panel discussion, this is just a photograph of that space. We had, yes, I was away from teaching for a semester, but I was thinking about students, and this sort of deep dive into my own work, and then having this sort of, just experiment. I was in Sacramento thinking about homes, thinking about how these historic homes, and especially a high property value area like Sacramento, you lose the one historic home, you have this other home that's equally as beautiful, just very different, how we deal with that sort of history in our own communities and neighborhoods. I did do one small, this is like what I call the petite sabbatical project. I had 35 paintings in this particular historic site. I very much wanted to bring the work to my local community, where I made the paintings. This happened the show just came down last Friday. So this is installation shots from that show less than a month ago, October 14th. And then some of the other things that I think are really wonderful and rich about a sabbatical experience is, the dinners, the studio visits. These are not things that I was really great about cataloging because there were so many, it wasn't sort of, I could kind of pepper them in throughout the day in between the project. But again, more studio visits. Some of these are Baltimore-based, some in Philadelphia. Exhibitions. These are things that you tend to do anyways as a scholar, a professor, someone serious in your field. But when you're on sabbatical, you're sort of bathed in it. You can kind of, 8-10 hours a day where you really have this immersion experience and then kind of bring that back out to the rest of your life. And, another dimension of my life is this, this young artist that I live with, Lola, who had some work at the BMA, so I was excited. And I told her, I said, Lola, I will never, very likely, I will never hang work in the BMA. And here you are, this is your second year. She's like, what can I say, I'm good. But thank you very, very much for the support. Oh, and the sabbatical project here will take place. It'll be the first show of the spring semester. I'd love to share more about what I learned, the oral history, right in this space, right across the way. I don't have the opening reception date, but it'll be the first week of February.
Did you guys have any questions? I forgot we didn't start. No, let's just keep it moving. Not questions of me. I have absolutely no answers for anything. He's going to run. Okay, he had to run. Associate Professor Brandy Shepard has served as a faculty member at AACC for 22 years. During her sabbatical last fall, she investigated and researched instructional coaching and its possible impact in higher education and collegiate level instruction. As a result of Shepard's research, she has created and tested an instructional coaching model comprised of the following 5 prongs: awareness of reality, establishing areas for change, creating goals, forming strategies, and measuring results and reflection. She has already been able to conduct studies with our faculty utilizing this approach to instruction. Additionally, Professor Shepard knows that her work will lead to greater opportunities for teaching excellence, the ability to explore innovative strategies to develop fresh teaching techniques, and professional advancement for her and our faculty on a grander scale. Now I'll get out of the way so she can explain further.
Good afternoon. It's good to see you all today. Dr. Milner did a phenomenal job introducing who I am, so I don't have to say I'm Brandy Shepard. And I've been here for 22 years, and I'm an associate professor. During my sabbatical leave in the fall of 2022, as Dr. Milner stated, I took a deep dive into instructional coaching. I did this to see what would be the possible impact in higher education and instruction at the collegiate level. This concept is prevalent in the K-12 sector. We have a lot of educators across the country that have been implemented as instructional coaches in schools in support of primary and secondary teachers. And the focus of this type of coaching really centers on the development of pedagogical approach in the classroom, solely on student engagement as well as instructional strategies to best support student learning. So I learned this crazy thing, instructional concept, from my dear colleague, Dr. Aldra Butler. We were kind of discussing the impact of life and engagement coach training during my participation in the coaching community number 3 back in 2018, and we had this conversation early 2019. And I expressed how impactful coaching was in the classroom. I showed up coach-like to our students, weaving powerful questions into my instruction and creating space for a reflection. This newfound skill gave way to a higher purpose, truly a higher purpose in my teaching, and provided me with a revelation on how this could be influential to my fellow colleagues in their teaching effectiveness. Thus, the idea was born to explore instructional coaching as a paradigm in teaching and learning here at AACC. There is a great deal of opportunity for development and implementation of instructional coaching models in higher ed. The onset of new instructional modalities, specifically in the virtual and hybrid environments, have created the necessity for increased levels of support for faculty to deliver innovative instruction in regards to these modalities. In addition, new requirements associated with the incorporation of DIAA Plus principles into our curriculum and understanding the association of section-level data to student success and the analysis of learning outcomes assessment have given way to faculty perception of performance in the classroom. Life engagement and coaching allows for thoughtful reflection and impactful purpose. When a person is coached, the process provides space to consider what's here and what's possible. Through the lens of instructional coaching, faculty are strengthened to accomplish goals through these endeavors. In short, faculty need support. They need instructional support and the sharing of best practices. Now, here at AACC, we're doing that at the surface. However, programs like the Mastery Project and some of our signature programs are digging deeper and making more meaningful connections to instructional development. Through instructional coaching, the hope is to deepen instructional support for AACC faculty and help them achieve instructional goals set to increase student learning achievement. Now, my research was rooted in what this guy has been doing. The principles that were formed by Jim Knight, founder and senior partner of the Instructional Coaching Group, we also refer to that as IGC, is an organization that provides professional development and publishes educational books related to instructional coaching. Now again, his focus is rooted in K-12, so he's not had any real relative research in higher education. And in fact, he and I had a lot of conversation about that, so he was very interested in my sabbatical work. Using 25 years of research as experience as a senior research associate at the University of Kansas Center for Research and Learning, Dr. Knight created and cultivated and expanded the instructional coaching model. His three-pronged approach, identify, learn, improve, have become the base tenets of the instructional coaching model. Knight coins this the impact cycle. To state the extensive amount of text, published articles, conversations, podcasts, video presentations, and all things associated with communicating the relativity of this instructional coaching model is an understatement. And I kid you not, there's at least 10 to 12,000 pieces of research work that he's done over the course of time that he's been working in 25 years in instructional coaching. Now, although there are other models for instructional coaching out there, such as inquiry-based and cognitive coaching by Elena Aguilar and student-centered coaching by Diane Sweeney, Jim Knight's The Impact Cycle is now the most widely used instructional coaching model in the world. His stats will speak for themselves. Oh, sorry, I'm a little bit ahead of myself. His stats will speak for itself. 100,000 plus instructional coaches trained in 45 plus countries around the world and growing. I participated in IGC's The Virtual Instruction Coaching Institute, a 16-week intensive and most comprehensive professional development seminar in understanding the big picture view of instructional coaching. It was an exhaustive learning opportunity covering the 7 factors for success in Knight's coaching model. These include the partnership principles, communication skills, coaches as leaders, the impact cycle, which I spoke about, the data, the instructional playbook, and systems support. Knight states, I have organized what I've learned into 7 success factors that every instructional coach, coaching director, and administrator should understand and be able to apply to create a powerful coaching program. These factors are essential not only for coaching to be effective, but also any change initiative to succeed. And that was quoted from his book, The Definitive Guide to Instructional Coaching, one of about 15 books he's already written on this core subject. Additional learning during the 16-week intensive showcased communication as a coach, instructional strategies for success, growing as an educational leader, data as an indicator, establishing support for administration, and reflection. The instructional coaching model that I've created for ACC is adapted from Knight's Impact Cycle. This is a 5-pronged approach to instructional coaching in post-secondary education and comprises the following. Awareness of reality. What is currently happening in the learning environment? This can be in-person, virtual, hybrid, or asynchronous. This is done through personal observation by the coach, through class visitation, or through recorded video of the faculty, and then review of the video by the faculty and the instructional coach together. Establish areas for change. The degree of change is determined. This could be incremental or a wider enhancement in instructional pedagogy. These areas are not necessarily all improvement, and that's important to note. For example, a faculty member could see success in a particular pedagogy, but find this method be stale in their teaching. And I think we see this with a lot of our senior faculty, ones that are working 20 years plus. Things that they were doing 10 years ago were very fresh, but today not so much. Identifying this change as a part of the enlivening of their instruction. Obviously, this part of the model can be used for instructional improvement, but coaching isn't punitive. It offers an opportunity for self-awareness, self-reflection, and self-actualization. Establishing an area for change drives the instructional goal. Number 3 is create goals. In partnership with the coach, faculty create SMART goals. Now, Knight uses the peers goal, positive, easy, emotionally compelling, and reachable. Related to the change faculty seek to make, the goals are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-based. I've selected SMART as a construct in establishing the goals due to its wide use in education and industry. Faculty are coached and mentored to establish these goals. This means the coach does not provide these goals, the faculty is the architect. Our fourth step is form strategies. Working with the coach, faculty design and formulate evidence-based teaching strategies to support reaching these goals. Many of the tactics illustrated by Jim Knight's The Instructional Playbook, yet another book that he's written, can be used as a basis for establishing these strategies. Our last step in this model is measure results and reflection. Data, we love data here at ACC. Where's Schwan? I saw her earlier. We love data. And I've learned to embrace data, let me tell you. Data is used to measure success in meeting the goal or determining if the goal was the right approach. This can be accomplished through informal discussion with students, surveys, assessment of student work, and assessing student engagement. Faculty reflect on their experiences in using the strategies that worked and what didn't work. This is done through coaching and asking powerful questions. When I returned in the spring of 2023, I conducted 3 case studies using instructional coaching methods and putting the model I created to test. Now, obviously, it was a good opportunity because I thought, things that are working, things that aren't working, and I actually went back and changed the model from what you see today. My subject were 2 first-year faculty and 1 adjunct faculty, each presented with varying topics in their teaching. 1 case study simply wanted to affirm what she might be called in the classroom, creating an identity for herself with her students. Another case study struggled with confidence in the classroom, setting a goal to be more assertive, enthusiastic, and engaging. The last case study, which is still ongoing, I'm working with that faculty currently, wanted to get his feet under him as a new to the classroom instructor. Just want to share some opportunities for teaching excellence. Through research, inquiry, and development, instructional coaching at ACC will provide faculty with pedagogical strategies to strengthen student engagement and success. And then faculty will also benefit from experienced engagement coaches with a specialty in instructional coaching and encouraged to explore innovative strategies to develop fresh teaching techniques. Some of our professional and personal advancement through that coaching model were concentrated in professional development. We're directly tied to our continuing work within the teaching and learning environment. A collective and shared focus on learning for our student is enhanced. We also explore prospects of instructional coaching and education and training through our AACC's Engagement Coach Training Program, furthering opportunities for coaching genres, including career coaching, financial coaching, health coaching, leadership, and executive coaching. We'll expand the college's existing engagement coach training program. AACC is uniquely positioned to develop coaching as a standard practice and professional improvement in faculty and instructional specialists. And remind you that we have one of the few certified programs here under the ICF, and I think the only community college program that we have, right, Dr. Milner? Yes. So don't tell Jen that I had to ask you that. Institute our instructional coaching into the Learning College program, super important, super important for our first-year faculty, and create a multi-year professional progress track as faculty acclimate to teaching at AACC. So here's my plan of action. In summary, there's real promise for this kind of work. My ultimate goal is to pivot into this role of instructional coach for the college, supporting my fellow faculty. And if I could spread myself 272 ways, I would, but I can't. So I need more people. The first step is to take on a reasonable caseload of faculty within my school, STE, under the leadership of Dr. Lance Bowen, who I thank you for being here today. Appreciate it. This would require a reduction in my teaching load to half, with the other half given release time to be the instructional coach role. Of course, if budgets allow. I hear you, Dr. Milner. Over time, I hear you. Over time, I would like to train additional instructional coaches and conceive that each school of study has 2 to 3 instructional coaches supporting faculty. As the program grows, it would be determined how to best structure given the demand for instructional coaching. Of course, my sincerest gratitude to the administration, Anne Arundel Community College, Dr. Milner, Dr. Lindsay, my fellow colleagues on the Promotion and Tenure Committee, of course, you all, the Board of Trustees here, for your continued support and sponsorship of scholarly work by faculty through sabbaticals. This is actually my second sabbatical that I've taken in 22 years. Ironically, in that 22-year time period, both sabbaticals had nothing to do with architecture or construction. Go figure. So, what questions do you have for me? Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Lindsay. Good evening to the board. Oh, thank you. So I'm here to present the fall enrollment report. This is our fall credit enrollment report that we will be looking at this evening. Just a reminder here, we have the head count that represents the actual number of students enrolled in credit courses. And again, just a reminder that the data that you see reflects a specific point in time, our census date as of September 30th. So after many, many years, I'm happy to report that the college has experienced an increase in headcount of 9.48%. So that fall headcount number of 11,158 is an increase of 966 students. The fall FTE of 2,965 is an increase of 215 students over fall, or 7.82%. I do want to note that as we are comparing from year to year, we had a program, that's our Foundations of College Algebra program. Depending on when the enrollment comes through, it shifts a little bit in terms of the comparison. So last fall, that program did not make it into our census date data. So this is a little bit inflated, but all of that to say, even still, as of yesterday, our fall FTE is up 5.6% compared to last year's FTE. So just a little caveat with the numbers. If we're looking at our new and returning students, and we're looking back at our trend data from 2013 to 2023, in 2023, there were 7,845 returning students, and those are students who've attended AACC sometime prior to fall 2023. You see that on the blue bar. Compared to 2022, that's an increase of 6.47%, or 477 students. And then on the orange section of the graph, we have 3,313 new students at AACC. That's an increase in new students of 17.32% between fall 22 and 23. And as you all are very well aware, a number of those are coming from our dual enrollment increase. So you'll see more about that in just a moment here. So if you're looking at our student body by age, if you start at the bottom, you see that under 18 is represented on the green line at 16.2%. 18 to 19-year-olds are on the gold at 25.9%. And our students who are 20 to 24, that's on the red line at 26.5%. And then 25 years plus are at 31.3%. So you can see us trending at a bit of a younger age. We'll need to probably do a little bit of work to see what our average age is starting to look like with those younger students starting to come in. The other thing that we've done is for our under 16 students, we have a special processing for gifted and talented students and procedures for dual enrollment. So the under 16 students increased by 30 students compared to last fall, and then 16 to 17-year-old, that group also increased by 55.4%. So we're seeing quite a bit of an increase there with those younger students coming forward. In many ways, it's great, but it does require a little bit of adjustment in terms of how we do our work with helping those students to be successful. Okay, so here we're looking at full-time versus part-time. You see that 73.7% of our students are attending part-time. That's on the orange line, so you can see the increase reflected there. Again, our dual enrollment students, of course, are part-time students. And then on the blue line, 26.3% of students attended part-time, full-time. I will get it right. Just having these are senior moments, and some of you can relate to that. Okay, our fall credit head count by gender remains consistent. That number of 39.6% of our students male compared to 60.4% of female, that percentage just happens to be the same as it was last year. So we're consistent there. If we're looking at our demographics in terms of our fall credit minority students, you'll see that on the orange line, 45.2% of students are identifying as non-white, and again, that's self-reported. The blue line shows 4,538 of our students are minorities, so again, those are students who report as Asian, Black, African American, Hispanic, Pacific Islander, Native American, Alaskan Native, or other multiracial. And again, it's based on all credit students minus non-US citizens, so, and those who didn't report a race or ethnicity. And we use the MHEC and IPEDS definition. Many of you are familiar with IPEDS. That's basically how the US Department of Ed tracks higher education statistics. So those are definitions that we're required to use. If we are looking at the breakdown of enrollment of credit students by race and ethnicity, if you start at the top of the graph, white students are at 49.4%, that's on the purple. Black African American students are 18.1% on the gold. Unknown is at 16.2% on the blue. Hispanic, Latino is 11.8% on the green, and Asian 4.5% on the orange. If we look at the number of students who are taking at least one online class in the fall, the orange line shows 58.3% of students taking at least one online course, or 6,504 students. And then here you see the percent of students taking at least one hybrid course in the fall. The orange line shows 15.5% of students taking at least one hybrid course, or 1,728 students. Here's a bit more about the high school students who are duly enrolled at AACC. You see that large increase in fall of 2023 for early college access dual enrolled students. 1,495 students are in that early college access program. That's an increase of 58.2%. And then you see the increase also in other dually enrolled students. So those could be homeschool or private high schools. So overall, we have 717 more dually enrolled students this fall. And then here you see our draw rate. So the draw rate is calculated by looking at the AACPS high school grads that are attending AACC divided by all AACPS high school grads. It is a preliminary number until they actually graduate, but you'll see our draw rate at 22.1%, just slightly behind fall. I don't know if that's statistically significant, but just a little bit of a decline there.
I have a question.
Sure.
So what is the percentage of the Anne Arundel County Public Schools students that come to us versus going other places? Because that's not what this one is.
Yeah, that question came up yesterday as well. What we know is, if I say this right, of the 1,198, 410 of recent AACPS high school grads attending AACC this fall were previously duly enrolled. So 34.2%. Now, our intention is to get that number higher, of course, especially with the number of dual enrolled students coming. And as we always say, it's easier to keep a student than to go get a new one. So we'd like to believe that we do a really good job. Well, we know we do a really good job, and we're hoping that we can, get as many students as possible to continue and benefit from what we have to offer them. And here's our retention rate, just a slight, I think you all have seen this before, but a slight decrease from fall to fall from 61% to 60% last year. Again, this is an IPEDS definition that we use as well. And then here we have our map, just get a sense of where students are coming from. And if you look over to West County, I'll do clockwise here for you. the higher numbers. That 651 is Odenton. 622, that's Severn. The 823 and the 557, if you're looking at kind of noonish, that is Glen Burnie. The 1189 is Pasadena. 495, that's Severna Park. The 515 is Arnold. And the 482, that's Annapolis. So that is my report for this evening. Thank you. Okay, thank you.
And our strategic planning update, Monica Rossi, Special Assistant to the President.
Good evening. It is my pleasure to present an update to the board about the college's strategic plan, Engagement Matters 2, Excellence Through Innovation, and highlight the work that the president, vice president, and faculty and staff are doing to support student success. I'm sure this slide looks familiar. As you know, the board approves the goals, objectives, and strategic activities of the strategic plan. And a copy of the strategic plan was included in your board materials, and it's also located in the Resource Center in Diligent, so you can access it at any time. There are 3 goals of our strategic plan: entry and engagement, progress and growth, and retention and completion. There are 4 objectives: excellence, engagement, innovation, and resources. How we achieve our goals is through the strategic activities, which are the bullet points underneath those 4 objectives. And now I'm going to talk a little bit about how the college operationalizes our strategic plan. So each year, the president and vice president, whom we affectionately call PVP, determine the priorities for the college. And these align with the board's goals, the president and vice president's goals, and the goals and objectives of the strategic plan. So here's what you see are the priorities for fiscal year 2024. It's retention of current students, strategic alignment of resources, diversity, equity, inclusion, anti-racism, and accessibility, and K-12 partnership blueprint for Maryland's future. So after those priorities have been determined, the president and the vice presidents develop specific actions to be completed during the year. And these actions are aligned with one of the objectives in the strategic plan. So as I present the PVP actions for each objective, I'm going to explain what the college is doing on the operational level. So these are the actions, PVP actions for excellence this year. So again, once PVP determines what the actions are determined, each division then develops activities which support these actions. So these are the actions for engagement. And so then after each division develops the activities that support these actions, the units and the departments align their work or objectives with the divisional activities. So it kind of cascades down. And so we receive updates on these actions and activities twice a year. These are the PVP actions for innovation. And as you know, assessment is key for middle states. And so this is how we incorporate the administrative unit process. So the units select one objective of their work that supports an action of the strategic plan, and they assess that. They assess one objective each year. And these are this year's PVP actions for resources. So then the results of the administrative unit assessments are collected at the end of each year. This process also helps inform institutional decision-making and resource allocation by aligning unit objectives with the college's strategic plan to achieve the college's mission and goals, and it demonstrates the college's commitment to accountability and continuous improvement. So then how do we measure the progress? Well, that's with our key performance indicators. We have 40 KPIs that help measure our progress towards achieving our goals and objectives. The board approves these key performance indicators, and they reflect the efforts at the unit and department level to support the strategic plan. So in Dr. Patterson's enrollment update, she presented many of the KPIs, such as credit head count, dual enrollment, enrollments in online classes, and retention. And many of the strategic plan's KPIs are in the annual Maryland Higher Education Commission Performance Accountability Report, which the board reviews and approves each September. So tonight, I'm just going to highlight a few others. So it's important to note that Engagement Matter 2, it has an intentional focus also on employees in addition to students. So this KPI helps to measure progress with faculty and staff engagement by the number of employees enrolled in professional development courses. So you can see the increase in enrollments in fiscal year 2023, and this is a result of the new DEIAA training plan for all faculty and staff, which includes having one DEIA professional goal for each employee. So when we look at growth and progress, some KPIs we look at are first-time students who earned 15 or more credits in a year, and then also the percentage of first-time students who complete college-level math and English in their first year. And research shows that students who take 15 credits and then students who are able to complete their Gateway English and Math in their first year are more likely to earn an award or complete. So for completion, the number of awards and graduation rates are some of the KPIs. And you may have noticed that in fiscal year 2023, that number had decreased. So this KPI is a lag indicator. So we attribute most of the decrease to the decrease in the number of students who were attending during the pandemic. So given the increased number of continuing students and the increased overall persistence rate this fall, there's a good reason for us to believe that the award numbers will increase in the upcoming years. We also know that students accumulating credits but not earning a degree is also part of a national phenomenon. So that's kind of the brief overview of what our actions are for this year in the strategic plan. I always like following Dr. Patterson because you get the enrollment part, and I actually think those sabbaticals are really great because it goes even more detail on how the faculty and what they're doing in their sabbaticals are really more specific strategies or what they're doing to help for student success. So tied up really nicely. Any questions?
Yeah, I have a question. So I see the Asian graduation rate is really higher, almost the same as white. I mean, have we made any data of which courses they are mostly taking? Are they taking more of healthcare, or any other courses they are taking it?
So are you looking at the, I'm going to make sure I understand the question correctly, Shabazz, that you're looking at the graduation rates, the 150, how they're higher for the Asian?
Yes, that's like 32.2 Asian percentage of graduation.
Right, 32, which is higher more than the 28. And so the question is really, I'm sorry, so I want to make sure now that we're looking at, now could you ask your question? Thank you.
Okay. So which category they are participating more? Are they more in healthcare or any other courses they are graduating in?
That's something I think we're going to have to get back to you on so we can disaggregate the data on that, because I don't think I have that right now from the, because this is also cohort data, which is a little bit different than the typical, I think the cohort, and I should have that definition right here, but maybe someone can help me. It's like full-time, first-time, full, which is, as you saw, is not really our typical student, right? And part-time now too? Yeah. So I know that Jim Tomneys wrote that down, so we will make sure that we follow up and get that to you.
Thank you. Yeah, that's I have.
Great, thanks.
So I'm here on behalf of Andrew Kim, Chair. I'm reading his report, and I'm confident I can probably not answer any of your questions that you may have. That's why I believe in being honest up front. The first academic forum meeting of the 2023-2024 academic year was held on Thursday, October 19th, 2023 via Zoom. Highlights include Academic Forum Committee's goals were all approved by the Academic Forum. Academic Forum Council Chair's goals were all approved by the Academic Forum. The Academic Forum assisted EPC and college leadership with position functions and coverage questions for learning outcome assessment while Audra Butler is on leave. The Academic Council provided feedback to AVP Tina Smith on an upcoming policy draft. Feedback from Academic Forum committees has begun regarding proposed charter update changes. These committee proposed update changes will be presented in either November's or December's Academic Council meetings as informational only with discussion allowed and be voted on in January's Academic Forum meeting. The chair worked on a charter update charter update language to be more inclusive of instructional staff at the college. This will be presented at the November Academic Council meeting, which is this Thursday, as informational only with discussion allowed and be voted on at January's Academic Forum meeting. This concludes the report. Thank you.
She literally must have just gotten drafted in the last 24 hours. I was talking to Andy yesterday. Thank you for joining us. Administrative Staff Organization, Andrea Zamora, President.
I guess I can say good evening now. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail because you saw with the report that I gave the updates that we recently did with our membership, but I wanted to share the highlights with you of our ASO member survey that we have so far. The survey doesn't close until Friday, but we've had roughly 1/3 of our members respond. And I think you're going to hear some connections between what Monica shared. But one of the things that came up in the initial question about top 3 challenges currently facing our members as supervisors came up with employee engagement. And there's with supporting employees, finding time to mentor and coach team members. They also, time comes up as a needed resource. There's a lot of meetings. They want to support their employees. They're also concerned about their own staff burnout, and they're concerned about their staff's work-life balance and their own work-life balance. So as an ASO organization, we're going to see what we can do to support that. We also recently, I want to share with you, met as the 4 constituency group leadership. And we talked about how we could collaborate. And one of the things that came up was the 4 constituency groups working to support the culture and employee engagement. So we're looking forward to more meetings together in order to discuss that. I also wanted to mention when we asked what they needed the most help with as a supervisor, as a support leader, and what came up were the top things were having difficult conversations, supporting their staff members, and managing in a hybrid workplace. So again, those are some things that we're going to be working on in terms of supporting our members. So I just want to share the highlights of where we are right now. And one of the write-in suggestions came up that in light of all of the things going on campus and having the supervisory forums, they would really like for ASO to focus on leadership and supporting them as leaders in leadership development, which we're going to be discussing that also as our own leadership team. We're very excited that our second meeting of the year that's coming up on November 29th, that we're going to have President Lindsay and the Vice Presidents there to meet with us. And then when I come to the next meeting, I will be able to report about our second meeting of the fiscal year. That concludes my report. Thank you.
From our professional and support staff organization, Laura Howard, Vice President.
Good evening. My name is Laura Howard, and I'm the PSSO Vice President, and I'll be delivering the PSSO November report. Based on the PSSO goals, which are exploring opportunities to better connect and communicate with each other and reflect our college values, the PSSO leadership has started putting civility matters into action. During the monthly PSSO Rep and Alt meetings, this featured brief topics around civility in the workplace. We're offering workshops to PSSO members focused on topics related to civility in the workplace and work-life harmony, stress management, and wellness. The AACC Community Service Committee launched the Food and Snack Drive to help fill the food and snack pantry at Lindell Middle School to ensure the students in need will have access to food during the winter break and throughout the school year. The drive runs from October 30th to December 1st. We also held 2 workshops for PSSO members. The first one was on Friday, November 3rd. We had 31 PSSO members. It was called Working in Joy, an Experimental Approach. And the other one was on Tuesday, October 24th, and we had 43 PSSO members, and it was called Post-Pandemic Fatigue. We're holding 2 other wellness workshops for PSSO members in February and April 2024. And this concludes my report. Thank you.
And from our Student Government Association, Zach Buster, President.
I'm sorry.
I think we're good.
Okay.
Good evening, Chair Uvo and the board. Good evening, President Lindsay. Since we last met, the Student Government Association has been operating at full capacity. We have hosted 2 events in the past month with 150 to 200 students in attendance at each. We have also expanded our numbers and will soon have the first full SGA for the first time since before the pandemic. Once we do, we will begin to host public meetings twice a month where students can come in, talk to us, and bring their questions and concerns to us. I believe giving the student body another public forum to speak their mind on top of our existing open floor office policy will increase accountability and engagement with our constituents, allowing us to serve them better. Even though our official budget season is over, new clubs and organizations continue to be created and added to our AACC community. As of now, we have about 40 active organizations on campus. With this rise in clubs, students have more communities here at AACC where they can get plugged in and feel a sense of belonging that we strive for. As most of you know, there's a well-researched phenomena of students' academic performance and retention rates improving once they get involved on campus. I personally know this was the case for me. Being in clubs improved both my grades and my life. Getting involved started me down the professional path which led me to speaking in front of you today. Last year, my campus family helped me realize what I wanted to do with my life and made me excited to come to school every day. That said, I am honored to facilitate these types of communities as SGA president so that others can have the same great college experience and dare to redefine themselves as I have. From events to engagement, I believe SGA is living up to the former student trustee Connor Curran's description of a powerhouse. That said, not only are we a powerhouse of events and engagement, but we are also a switchboard and the first stop for many students who may feel lost or unsure about where to go or who to talk to with their questions or concerns about campus life, just general anything that they have questions or concerns about. And, this is only possible because of the relationship we have built with our fellow students so far this semester. And I believe that we'll only continue to improve from here. When I spoke to you all for the first time, I set out my vision of helping AACC live up to the community part of its name through the three C's of collaboration, communication, and consideration. Well, I'm here to tell you that my team and I are executing this vision as we speak. Our student body believes in the SGA. Our student body knows us and we know them. Our student body feels heard and they know we are here to help. And in spirit of the festive spirit of November, I wanted to thank everyone in this room for their help in helping me do what I do every day. So thank you. Any questions? Okay, thank you.
Okay, I'm going to move in now to the Maryland Association of Community College Activities. The MAC Board of Directors met on October 27th at Anne Arundel Community College. At this meeting, the MAC Board of Directors approved the MAC legislative initiatives for the 2024 General Assembly, which are included in the materials. We will be preparing talking points for the board, members highlighting the key issues and priorities as we get closer to the start of the legislative session. Please save the date of the annual
Thank you, Madam President. Any new business to come before this committee? Board? No? Our next board meeting will be December 12th, 2023. Do I have a motion to close this public session and adjourn to a closed session meeting so that the board may protect the privacy or reputation of individuals with respect to a matter that is not related to public business pursuant to Section 3-305B2 of the General Provisions Article of the Maryland Code? Do I have such a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? We're adjourned. Thank you. Oh, I guess we were supposed to vote on.
I call your name, please state your vote. Chair Uvala?
Approved.
Approve. Can't hear it.
Vice Chair Chen?
Approved.
Trustee Chowdhury?
Jump the gun.
Approve.
Trustee Johnson?
Approve.
Trustee Moore?
Approved.
Trustee Price Jones?
Approve.
Trustee Stanton Buttram?
Approved.
Thank you. Chair Uvala, this motion passes.
Now we're adjourned.